At a casual dinner, your teenager accidentally says something inappropriate. Before you know it, you blurt out, "See everyone? Unbelievable!" Everyone around bursts into laughter. Your child falls silent. You think they're embarrassed and will learn their lesson. But that's not the case. The child isn't embarrassed. They're reestablishing their entire belief system. In that very moment, their brain is rewriting a new rule about you. Not about the content of the joke, but about whether you'll defend them at the cost of your own pride. You don't lose your child in a heated argument. You lose them in front of an audience. And that rule doesn't just change what they say, it changes who they'll turn to when they're in trouble later on. Welcome to Broken Trust Explained. We often think of education as constantly correcting and manipulating. You correct your child in front of friends in the car. What are you doing? That's ridiculous. You complain about your child at your sister's house. He never does anything right. Don't make me start telling you. Or, most classic example, at a family party, right when everyone is having fun, you interject. He just got a C in biology. 3 weeks before the final exam, and he got a C. For you, it's relief, being honest, being straightforward, and teaching your child. But for your child, it's not feedback. It's ridicule. Ridicule is a stage without consensus. Teenage brains are incredibly sensitive to social status. Brain scans from UCLA show that social denial activates the same pain areas as physical trauma. When you publicly correct a child, their brain doesn't register the lesson, it registers the threat. You made a mistake, and you've been publicly humiliated, are two completely different streams of information. One is information, the other is a wound. And that wound doesn't cling to their mistake, it clings to you. At first, they're just silent for a few hours. You think it's over. But no, that moment is recorded as evidence under a label. This is what it feels like when the person who should be protecting you stabs you in the back. Over months, it becomes a neurological rule. This person is consistently unsafe. When hurt comes from the protector, it seeps deeper than anything else. It's not dramatization, it's a biological mechanism. Your child won't tell you this. They just leave faster, close their room door earlier. One day, that door no longer opens the same way. The house becomes quiet. Meals are still cooked, homework is still done. Everything seems fine. From the outside, it looks like maturity. But inside, it's hurt disguised in politeness. Silence doesn't mean it's okay. Silence is pain that has learned to lower its voice. At this age, children begin to observe you more than they listen. They check. Does this person really live up to what they say? This is the stage where consistency is everything. Not likability or kindness, but trustworthiness. When you tell your child to respect others and then immediately say, "I can't believe this child," in front of a crowd, their system registers a huge contradiction. They're not looking for reasons to dismiss you, but their brains are designed to recognize such discrepancies. When those discrepancies pile up, when the gap between what you say about character and how you treat them becomes too wide, they stop arguing. They simply stop bringing genuine questions to you. You're not demoted from your role as the trustworthy adult after one argument. You're quietly moved to the list of people they have to play it good to deal with. You're more like a live-in tutor than a parent. If you don't understand why this is more deeply ingrained in your child's brain than in yours, you won't see the gap forming until it becomes permanent. Check. Does your child stop telling stories at the dinner table for fear they'll become a joke to you? Do they get stressed when you talk about them to others, even when you're praising them? Do they stop arguing with you in front of strangers? It's not because they agree, but because they've done the economic calculation. Arguing now is too expensive. It's better to back down. You're not seeing a stubborn teenager. You're seeing a child who has learned that your audience is a threat. Repairing this damage doesn't require a speech. It requires direct acknowledgement. Don't say, "I'm sorry you felt ashamed." That means it's your emotions that are at fault. Say, "I've been thinking about how I spoke about you in front of everyone. I wasn't there for you when you needed me most." I'm sorry. That's it. It will feel awkward, but that's the truth. That's when the data file in your child's brain starts to be updated. Distance doesn't start with a big explosion. It starts with a silence that's never broken. You can be the one to break that silence today. Don't choose a public performance. Choose to protect the child standing right next to you. Because in the end, they will remember who stood by them in that room, and they will also remember who didn't.